Imagine this. You wake up, you do some stretches, eat a good breakfast, then you drive over to the stadium you will be playing a game in. You're a kicker for an NFL team. You go through your regular warm-up routine, then get to kickoff. Everything is normal, you kick well in the game and it's a close game, and now it's coming down to the wire. There's only a few seconds left. If you make this kick, you win. If you miss it, you lose. Everything is riding on this. People's jobs, your family's future, the hopes and dreams of millions are decided by this one kick. You take your steps, you go through your pre-kick rituals, then you nod at the holder telling him you're ready to kick. He signals for the snap, it's a good snap, and then a good hold. But as you kick the ball, something feels off. Did you scoop it? Did you miss the sweet spot? Or was it just the wind? Either way, you watch helplessly as the ball flutters wide of the goalpost. Your heart is at the bottom of your stomach as your teammates try to console you. Then after the game, you look on social media and your family and significant other are currently receiving hate comments from burner accounts run by 15-year-olds. It didn't matter how good you kicked during the rest of the year. It doesn't matter if you're a good kicker in general. You missed that one kick. Welcome to the life of a kicker. Now I know that intro was very bleak and kind of sad, but trust me, it's not going to be like that for the whole video. I just kind of wanted to set the stage for what it's going to be like to try to get into the mind and body of an NFL kicker, because that's the point of this video. Is I kind of want some people to have some more understanding of what it's like to live the life of a kicker, because a lot of people talk about it, but not a lot of people know what it's like. And me being one and having experience as one, I kind of want to talk to people about it, and maybe we can have a better understanding of how we should view kickers. Now, I first want to start off with how people will say kickers have one job. Similar to how people will say long snappers have one job, or punters have one job, or holders have one job. But that's not entirely true. Because when you're a place kicker, I would say, 70 to 80% of the time, you're also your team's kickoff specialist. Even in high school and college, where you have second and third string kickers, sometimes your starting place kicker is still going to be the best guy for the job when it comes to kickoffs. So not only are you the place kicker and you have to worry about field goals and extra points, but you now have to do kickoffs, which isn't just, hey, kick this ball over here. That means learning signals from the sidelines. Your deep kick, your sky kick, your onside, your pooch. And I've heard these types of kicks called all different things. I've heard bunt, kill kick. There's different terminologies and different signals from special teams coordinator to special teams coordinator. Like, it switches from person to person. The only similarity that kickoff and place kicking have in common is you're kicking a football. Everything else is completely different. Your steps, most of your technique, just about every aspect of it is a whole different thing entirely. But then that leads into the next thing, which I'm sure a lot of people wonder. Why do kickers miss kicks? Well, that can be a complicated question to answer because it really depends on a lot of different factors. When you hear a kicker say that he mishit the ball, that can mean all different types of things. I'm sure you noticed me say in the intro, did I scoop it? Scooping a ball is where you hit it low and you typically hit it with your toes. Therefore, if these are your toes, you're scooping the ball, and then that'll cause it to pop up and not go very far. Sometimes you can hit it with your ankle because you're trying to hit it with the same bone that you punt with. This area right here. That is where, typically, when you're kicking, it's on this side right here. That is where you're trying to hit the football with. Which means that sometimes you can mishit it in the opposite direction of your toes, and you hit it with your ankle. And that will cause the kick to just look ugly and bad. Sometimes you can even get it to spiral. You can make extra points spiraling, not NFL ones, but college and high school extra points, you can make those with a spiral kick, but they don't go very far, and kickers know that it's not a good thing to hit a spiral kick. That means you hit it wrong. Another term that you'll hear is, I hit it like a soccer ball. Usually you'll hear this from younger kickers, high school guys, some college guys. That's because kicking a soccer ball and kicking a football is two different things. You're angling your foot more when you kick a football because of the shape of the football compared to the shape of a soccer ball. But it takes a little something off your kick overall. And then you have the hold, which a lot of people think with holding, I've been a holder before, it's just the laces being in that can mess up the kick, which is not true. A lot of kickers like to have their ball angled a certain way, left or right. And if you don't get it angled correctly in time, sometimes that can be the difference between making and missing a kick. If you're in the process of angling it, sometimes that can mess up the kick too. So the hold can sometimes be a problem, the snap can sometimes be a problem, and then other times, it literally could just be the wind. In extreme weather conditions, the wind can 100% cause you to miss or sometimes make, if the wind's at your back, it can cause you to make a few kicks too. And then at this point, you're probably wondering, why be a kicker? Now, obviously for the guys in the NFL, it's easy to say they're making millions of dollars. Of course, you would kick for millions of dollars. I know I would. But why do it for free like I do for semi-pro? Or why do it for minor league teams where you're not getting paid that much money in the first place? It's because we're addicted. I know I can really only speak for myself, but I know I've heard other kickers and punters talk about it. Getting addicted to the feeling of seeing that ball go through the uprights. And not just seeing it go through the uprights, but seeing it go end over end. Like seeing a picture perfect kick go right through the uprights. As soon as you see that, you are chasing that high every single day, every single time that you kick, because you want to get that feeling. And then when you make one in a game, oh my goodness, that euphoric feeling of making a field goal in a game, you're just chasing that. Just strictly for the love of the game. You're just chasing that feeling of that perfect kick because it just feels that good. Obviously, again, not all guys feel like that. I can't speak for every kicker on earth, but I know there are guys that relate to that and also feel that way. And it's just, that's what it's all about, is kicking's fun. And I know you have the people who say we should get rid of kickers because why should a football game come down to a guy that isn't a real football player? And I've always kind of been bothered by that. Even when I wasn't a kicker, when I was playing wide receiver and corner in high school, I always liked special teams. I liked kickers. I thought they were very important. I thought special teams is extremely undervalued and something that's just one of the best parts of football. So whenever I see people saying we should get rid of kickers and special teams isn't important and that type of stuff, it frustrates me because I consider it to be one of the most valuable parts of the game. And it's not just coming down to the leg of that guy that isn't a real football player, because when you have a field goal unit, you can have the best kicker in the entire universe. But if you don't have a guy who's willing to go play tight end and get absolutely demolished every single time you kick, then your kick's going to get blocked and it's not going to matter. So it's not just coming down to that guy's leg, it's coming down to those 11 guys that are out there on the field. The kicker, the holder, the long snapper, the guy that's blocking at guard, tackle, tight end, wing. If that wing isn't covering the holder, if he's just a scooch to the left, that guy's going to come in and he's going to block the kick. It's not just coming down to the kicker. Everybody has a role to play, whether it's field goal, punt, kickoff, kick return, everything. Every one of those guys on the field has a role to play that is extremely important to the success of that unit. And if they don't do their job right, you're going to fail. So obviously I don't think we should get rid of kickers, but I don't think it's some unjust thing when a football game comes down to the leg of a kicker, because that's why you have good kickers in the first place, because you want them to make those kicks. You want them to win you games. I want to win games. I want to be the reason that my team wins games sometimes. That's another part of the fun thing about it, is sometimes you go on the field, you're the reason that they win a football game, and that's a great feeling, because everybody else is always there to pick you up whenever you miss a kick. So sometimes you need to be there to pick up your offense when they can't score in the red zone and you can actually salvage some points. It's a team. That's what it's all about. And so at the end of the day, kickers, punters, holders, long snappers, every single one of those guys, they are real football players just like the rest. Because, they're playing through injuries that you don't know about. They're in the film room watching the same clip over and over of themselves kick or snap or whatever, just because they're trying to get that little bit better, that 1%. They're trying to get that much closer to that 1% so that they can be that much better. That's the beauty of it. As football, that's why football is the greatest team sport in the world, because it's so specialized and every single second matters. It's a game of inches, and that is especially true with kickers. Anyways, I'm Limitless Pulls. I'm gonna catch y'all next time.
Same fucking bitches, got the chopsticks with extensions on my dick, cause I like that.